Town Sports, 1140.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
He has nearly 40 years of broadcasting in Northern California. The voice of the San Francisco 49ers, Greg Papa. Sponsored by Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard of the public adjusting industry.
That's right. As we begin our final hour here, 9 o'clock on a Friday, it's always great to catch up with Greg Papa. Dave, it's our favorite segment.
The
we
one,
love it.
the only, the voice of the Niners, our friend and yours, Greg Papa. Good morning, Greg.
Good Friday morning, boys. How are you? How you doing today?
You know, I'm good.
Yeah.
Got some leftover beef stew later, so that's always a good thing to look forward to. Jason?
Okay.
I'm good too. Yeah. Greg, we got to check in on you.
That's what's important.
I'm doing great. I was actually supposed to go in for the transplant like today, and that's been delayed for a few months. So I'm back on Blina. I'm feeling good. Things are going well. Completely in remission. MRD negative. I got like one cancer cell out of almost 5 million. In my body. So we're doing well. It's got to get my heart rate up a little bit. And then, go to work on this transplant probably after the end of the close of the year. And which will allow me to visit with you and watch the end of our football season. And it's been up and down and all around. The 3-0 start, and then Bosa gets hurt. And they have alternated loss, win since to get to where they are now. So this is a win week. But it's going to be a hard game. We'll get into it. But I think the big news, obviously, is getting Brock back, and Mac has played really well. I mean, the Niners are number one in the NFL in passing. It is incredible, even more than the L.A. Rams. Their passing offense is 261.4 yards a game, number one. Now, they got to get the rushing offense going a little bit. They still don't have a 20-yard run, and I think getting Ricky Pearsall back with his tremendous skill set, both short, intermediate, and to get over the top, will open that up. Mac's done a great job. Mac Jones is going to be they got him under contract for next year as well. So we'll see what happens. But I think he's proven he is a starting quarterback in this league. And there are a lot of teams. Look around the league. Direct disciples of either Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay, and they run this specific offense with a couple of subtle changes. So Mac has proven he can run this offense. He can run any offense, really. So he has been a godsend. He has kept his team afloat. But this is Brock Purdy's team. They have played in the biggest of games, championship games, Super Bowls with this guy. And I would like to see the offense get a little closer to 30 for Purdy, even though they are number one in the NFL in scoring. Number one in passing, they're merely 23rd in scoring at 22 points a game. So we like our touchdown San Francisco's. I think we need 4 a week and not 3, and maybe a couple of Eddie Moneys and get into 30 for Purdy because the defense is young. I mean, there's no doubt. And Stafford was surgical in what they were able to do. So good to get Brock back, good to get Ricky back, and it's time. It's time to roll now.
There's 2 quick things, and I'm pretty sure I speak for Jason here when you said, and thank goodness that you'll get the transplant and you had to delay it. I certainly hope the delay wasn't for coming on the show. We would have given you the day off, Greg.
No.
Greg, we would have given you the day off.
No. And once I do the transplant, David, it'd be like, Jason can speak to it. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 months
Jeez.
rehab, so it's a long time. No, I did not.
I know.
Believe me, I love you guys. You're good to go for the transplant. See you later.
See you later. Secondly, what Darnold, we could just plug it. We talked about the Mike Shanahan to Kyle Shanahan plug and play running backs. Now it's plug and play quarterbacks almost. I know this is a silly premise because it's obvious, but Greg, if you're a quarterback that's still, 22 to 28 and you're bouncing around, I got to think the dream scenario at this point is I'd like to go play for Kyle Shanahan as a backup. He just seems to be continually rehabbing careers, if you will.
He has, and I love Sam Darnold. I was on Sam before anybody, and I watched what he did at the end of his run in Carolina. People think he played badly in Carolina. He did not. He was 4-2 with that football team, and had him close to a playoff. And I know what his ability was. Took him a while to figure it out, and now look at Sam and what he's doing with Seattle. That's going to be a showdown game with Stafford. So I hear what you're saying, but I also think Kyle is going to pick and choose who he wants to play quarterback. He's not going to take anybody.
Sure.
And I don't want to pick on Justin Fields. But I don't think Justin Fields, I would not advise him to come here. I don't think it would help him. He's just so inaccurate with the football. He makes poor choices. And just watching that game last night, how good is Drake May? Wow.
Yeah.
He's just so poised.
Greg, what about Zach Wilson? I'm sorry, but I just don't want to forget asking.
I don't. I'd have to watch him more. I didn't like his build coming out of college.
Sure.
And Mac's under contract for one more year.
Yeah,
so I don't know what they're going to do with him in the offseason. But I think specifically Kyle has been able to QB whisper and, get guys back on track that he believes in and knows he can coach up. It's gone on and on with guys. Jimmy Garoppolo in New England. Jimmy was behind Tom, in that quarterback room. Brissett was also there. Jacoby Brissett was going to play against the Niners on Sunday for Arizona. I remember at one time it was Brissett was the third string behind Jimmy, behind Tom. Mm-hmm. So it takes a certain ability. And if you don't have that ability, I'm not sure. He'll make you better. The system will make you better, but the system will also expose you. If you don't sometimes I think Trevor Lawrence just can't play in the system. Liam Cohen runs a similar one, obviously being with McVay in L.A. with the Rams. It'll accentuate if you're good at it, but if you're not, and the bottom line is you have to make good choices, and you have to be accurate with the football. And Mac Jones does make good choices. He sees the field, and he's incredibly accurate. So Justin Fields is just not accurate. Trey Lance is just not accurate and does not make proper choices with the ball. So there's been guys that have flourished in this system, but it's not anybody. He's gonna pick a certain type of quarterback and accentuate the abilities they have. But if they don't have the God-given ability that I'm talking about, I'm not sure he can solve you.
Greg, I'm thinking about Purdy being back. There's an excitement there of him returning. And guys will always tell you they're never 100%, but he is coming off this injury, off the turf toe. Is he going to be able to do all the things he normally can do? Do you think there's any – is he not – how close is he to 100%, I guess, for this
one? I don't know. I'm a boy in a bubble. I haven't left my backyard since July. The hell do I know? But what I'm going to look for is obviously the ability to transfer weight. It's his right big toe, so it's his back foot. And I'll go to Jordan Love. Jordan Love drives me nuts that he never transfers the weight off the back foot to the front foot. Cam Newton did that his whole career, and he just was highly inaccurate. And Jordan Love doesn't run like Cam Newton. Cam Newton, if he wants to be more accurate, honestly, when I watched Green Bay the other night, I thought Mac Jones would make this offense so much better if he would play quarterback for them. And no one would say that he has the skill set of Jordan Love. He's not the athlete that Jordan is, although I question that. But anyway, Brock, it's his right big toe, it's his back foot. Can he plant on that foot and transfer weight? You have to assume he'll be able to do that, or he's not going to be able to play. And if he can't do that, and I think there was some inability to do that when he came back against Jacksonville, that's why he missed high. I mean, you heard Bill Walsh always talk about feet. Your feet is what makes you drive the football. If your feet are not lined up to your target, whether you're a second baseman as a middle infielder in baseball or a quarterback, if your feet are misaligned and your shoulders are going the wrong direction, you could have Joe Willie Namath's arm, and Joe could get it there, but nobody else could. So you just can't do it. So watch his feet, make sure he's lined up, and I have to assume they wouldn't put him out there. And then all the other things that is required to play quarterback. And I think Mac's done great. Mac has shown toughness and durability. He's played beyond. And I had a lot of respect for him in New England. I studied him when they drafted Trey Lance, and I wanted Mac Jones. I thought it wasn't even close that Mac was a better player. But then he got sideways a little bit, and we watched his whole career. So I'm not shocked that he's played this well, but I didn't know he was this tough. But he got pounded a little bit too much because he's not a great athlete. He couldn't run away from the pressure. Brock can. So with Brock, not just transferring weight and the footwork and make sure he's all lined up, I think you'll see more movement in the quarterback. When you think of a Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan offense, what is it? It's an outside stretch run where you're running wide, say to your left, behind Trent Williams. Quarterback either gives it to the back or he pulls it and runs, Kyle calls it a keep game. I call it a boot, where the quarterback comes across the entire formation and goes out to his right. They didn't do a lot of that with Mac Jones. That's not his skill set. Brock Purdy can do that. So I think you'll see more movement, more traditional Shanahan offense. And then, Brock's escapability, I think, will be important, especially against this Arizona rush. They got some monsters. Josh Sweat is a bad man. And they got Calais Campbell, and they'll bring pressure, they'll blitz, and they'll bring Buda. And you got to make sure he's upright. So I just think the full, mobility of a Brock Purdy, being able to step up, keep plays alive. And I think this offense, and plus he's shorter. I think they let Brock sit sometimes too much in the midline, right behind the quarterback. And they'll put Calais Campbell over the right guard, Dominic Cooney. And that's where Brock, if he's in the midline, right behind center, the ball will come out from his right hand right over the right guard. And they know he's 6 feet, 5, 8, 7 inch tall, and they're going to get their hands up and try to block the ball. So what you want to see is full mobility, transfer weight, and then, be able to escape, be able to run the keep game, the boot game, and play quarterback like we remember the Brock Star playing.
Greg Papa joining us. Despite the defense that you named, and you and I both love Buda Baker, is this as close to a get-right game for the Niners as they can pretty much hope for on this schedule, or is there danger lurking?
No, I know they're 3-6, David, but they came to Levi's on the 21st night of September, 21st day. They were 2-0, and they beat the crap out of Mac. If you remember, they literally ripped the jersey off his body. He was hobbled, and he had a hard time making that stretch handoff to McCaffrey. He couldn't get there. He was so battered with his knee that he had to dive through the air to do it, and they just pummeled him. The Niners won the game, but, Eddie Money made a field goal in the last second to beat him by a point. And that set off a string with that game, 5 in a row, where they lost 5 straight games by 4 points or less. And I watched them all. There was a game against Indianapolis. They were the better team most of the game. The game was in Indy. Trey McBride got grabbed on a little outcut at the end of the game in the end zone. I thought it was a foul. They didn't call it. They wound up losing, I think, by 4. Green Bay came to the desert the week after. Arizona controlled the entire game. And then Green Bay saved it at the end, but there was a Hail Mary jump ball at the end that Arizona got their hands on and just couldn't bring it in. A couple of Mondays ago, they went to Arlington and just took Dallas apart. They annihilated them on both sides of the ball. They got run against Seattle last week. It was 35-0, and Seattle can do that to you. But Arizona got back into the game. At one point, it was 41-22. I'm like, what's going on? And they turned the ball over, and Sam Darnold had a couple of fumbles and lost balls. And so they're good. They're not, because they lost the 5 in a row, they're probably not going to be a playoff team, but they're going to be as tough as any playoff team. The Niners are not looking past this game. If they don't go there and play a hell of a lot better defensively than they played against the Rams, they will lose this game. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the games. You need them all. You got 7 more to go. The Carolina game the next Monday, look at Carolina's 1-loss record.
Yeah.
They're going to be a team you're battling for a playoff spot. Can Carolina and the Niners both make the playoffs this year? Yeesh. I don't think so. I think it's one or the other. Maybe neither. And then likewise Chicago when they come in on a Sunday night. So don't fall into the trap of their 1-loss record. They're a far better team. I think they're closer to the Niners. The Niners are 6-4. They're 3-6. I'm not saying they're a 6-3 team because they did lose those games. But as I just delineated, they could have easily won 2 or 3 of those games, and their record would be what the Niners' record would be, or close.
Greg, what do you think, in your opinion, is the future for? I know he's on the IR now, but for Kyler Murray.
Boy, I don't know. I really don't know, Jason. So the one year that I was, I did the Raiders games 21 years. I was hired to do the Niners games after a year off. The one year I was out, didn't do any play-by-play, was 2018. So I took like a 10-game radio package, national radio, college football. And my first game that year was at Norman, Oklahoma, and Kyler Murray after Baker Mayfield. And I became obsessed with him. We knew his story. Billy Beane took him 9th overall in the draft. He's the only guy to be drafted in the first round in baseball and football. They thought he was going to be Ricky Henderson, a right-handed hitter with power and speed. And as a quarterback, wow, he took my breath away. He had one run in that game where he must have run like 65 yards to make a pass down the field. And so that was the very first game of the year. And I watched him. He won the Heisman that year. And I was more impressed with his ability to win from the pocket than I was necessarily his running ability. His running ability is big time. But he is small. There were limitations on him. I thought he got better as a pocket quarterback. We played them the last game of the year last year, Jason, and I thought he made great strides to stay in the pocket and try and win. And then I thought he did again this year. But he is undersized. And we get on Brock for being 6 feet 5/8 of an inch tall. How tall is this guy, or how short is he? It's hard. So sometimes I ask him to sit in the well in the pocket. He can't see. So he's got to get out. I like him a lot more than like Tua Tagovailoa or a few other quarterbacks. So I think there's going to be, but he's going to have to restructure his contract. He's going to probably, I don't know if they could trade him. I doubt they could trade him because of the money. So he'll probably be a street free agent. I think they're going to cut him. I don't know, but everybody I asked from Arizona, is Kyler taking his last snap? And they say yes, he's done. So and then you get into that he doesn't study. Remember the clause they put in his contract that he had to look at his iPad for 4 hours a week? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy looks at his iPad 4 hours a minute. 4 hours a week. I do that, just getting ready for games. Are you out of your mind? Way more than that. I mean, that was insulting. I don't know why they got that out there. That was a mistake. Did the owner want that out? Or I mean, wow. How damning. If that's the case, don't sign him. If your quarterback's not the hardest working guy in the building, get rid of him. It's not going to work. So I don't know. He'll get a chance to play. He will start for another team. I just don't know exactly what that team will be, and I think he's going to be humbled. I think come February when they start cutting players off rosters, I think he will be cut, and I think he'll be available to be re-signed, signed by someone. Going back to your question, David, I don't think the Niners won't pick him up. He won't fit here.
Sure.
For a lot of reasons, but somebody will. So I appreciate the ability, the natural ability he has. He's an amazing athlete, but it takes more to play that position than just being a great athlete. And you got to ask hard questions. Why? Why did you not do better? Why? Did you not study hard? Or will you study hard? I remember Michael Vick. Michael Vick did an interview once with Jim Mora after Jim was his coach in Atlanta. And then Jim, talked too much about jobs he wanted. He got fired, and he's wound up working for NFL Network. So he's interviewing Michael Vick, and I think Michael now is on to playing for Andy Reid in Philly, and he's reinvented his career. And Jim Mora asked him, remember all those DVDs we used to give you, Michael, a stack of DVDs to, study the other team? He said, did you ever watch those? And Michael Vick said, no, Coach, I didn't. And Jim Mora said, boy, I wish you had, Michael. So, I mean, it's a little bit of that. The famous Jamarcus Russell story. The Raiders, the video people, the Otten brothers, gave purposely Jamarcus Russell blank DVDs to scout the other team. There was nothing on them. He never asked for, this DVD's broken. I can't get it to work. He never once asked because he never once looked at him. So if your quarterback is not working, the team is not going to work.
I know we're in crystal ball land. I just honestly, because of your deep knowledge of both teams, could you see a Kyler Murray working in Las Vegas?
Whoa.
Yeah. I
don't know. I mean, that's up. I don't know Pete Carroll, and I don't think Tom Brady would go that way to whatever influence he has. I'm not. And Mark Davis has reached out to me since I've been ill, so we patched that up. But I really don't know.
Sure.
No, I mean, Al Davis wouldn't take him.
Okay.
He's too small. I remember when the Raiders had some undersized quarterbacks. Bruce Gradkowski. Remember Bruce Gradkowski?
Yeah.
Quarterback? I remember going up to him, and he threw 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter in Pittsburgh to beat the Steelers. And he's hugging me, and I went, I just can't believe you're quarterback at Al Davis's football team. You're not 6'4", you're not 6'5", and you don't have a hose of an arm. So just enjoy it while you can. I just don't. And I know Mark's not going to influence it that way, but I as far as being the prototype Raider quarterback, Kyler Murray is not that.
Okay.
Greg, just one other thought on the weekend. You mentioned it briefly about Seahawks and Rams. Dave and I were asking about this. For Niner fans, who should they want to win that game, Seahawks or Rams?
Seattle.
Okay. Because they play them again?
Because we already beat them once.
Yeah.
And we play them at the end of the year. So, and that game will be here. So we have a chance to beat them twice. You split with the Rams. So, and I, the game is going to be at SoFi. And I think it all comes down to Sam Darnold. And he did not play well against the Rams last year, as you remember, in the playoff game. And that game was moved to Arizona because of the fires in L.A. He didn't play well, and he had a tough time, especially in the low red zone, and he struggled the week before. I love Sam Darnold. I always have. I got great respect for him, and he would be a Raider quarterback. Al would love Sam Darnold. But anyway, I like Seattle's defense better than I like the Rams. And the Rams got a really good defense, but it's not Seattle's. They come at you with overload pressure. They're going to hit Stafford in this game. And I'm not going to say Jimmy Garoppolo may play, but they're going to hit him. And he will get tagged. So he's going to have to get used to that. But I ultimately, and you know how much I love Sam, but Matthew Stafford in a big game is a big game quarterback. He's done it over and over again. He's won Super Bowls. He beat us in a championship game, and they were down 10 going to the fourth quarter. So we know what he's capable of. So I like the Rams' overall offense better than Seattle's. But that matchup, when the Rams are on offense and Seattle is on defense, is going to be hell. I mean, they're going to hit Stafford. I want to see what they do with Puka. The other side of the ball is going to be interesting as well because the Rams have guys to heat you up, and I just hope Sam doesn't turn the ball over. I don't know. I think it's going to be if the game was in Seattle, I would clearly take Seattle to win the game, and I think they could beat them by like 10. But since the game is going to be at SoFi this first time around, I think I would. I think it's going to be a pick'em game. It may come down to a field goal. I just hope Sam Darnold doesn't just give them the game. Don't just turn the ball over 2 or 3 times in the game.
That is the voice of the 49ers, Greg Papa, joining us each and every week, and we are so honored, as always, to have him. You're the absolute best, the highlight of the week for us. And enjoy the weekend. Eat some food, have some fun.
You know, we're getting into the holidays. My sister already put the order in.
Okay,
she said,
nice.
Can you have sugar with the? I said no.
Oh.
Cancer does not like sugar, but cancer has made one exception, and that is the Gucciardati cookies.
Yeah,
so
of course,
we got to go there. So she's already said look for them in a couple of weeks. So we're already almost on the holidays, boys. We got Thanksgiving coming up in a couple of weeks, and then we can move into the holidays. So good talking to you guys.
You too, Greg. Have a great week, my friend. We'll talk to you
soon.
soon.
Love you both, bros.
Love you too.
Take care.
That's Greg Papa. Voice of the Niners gets his Gucciardati cookies, and I'm glad. But at the very least, maybe I thought he was going like Splenda.
Yeah.
Something like that. But he's